Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. Today's story is absolutely massive, a shocking turn of events that could change everything for not just the Milwaukee Bucks, but possibly the entire balance of power in the NBA. We're talking about a superstar injury, a crumbling playoff run, and growing rumors that one of the greatest players in the game today, Giannis Antetokounmpo, might actually be heading to Los Angeles. But don't jump ahead. We're going to break everything down piece by piece, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see just how real this scenario might be. The bombshell dropped earlier this week when ESPN's Shams Charania reported that Damian Lillard has torn the Achilles tendon in his left leg, an absolutely devastating injury for the Bucks star point guard. At 34 years old, this isn't just a temporary setback. This is a season-ending, possibly career-altering blow. He's expected to miss the entire 2025-26 season. And as painful as that is on a personal level for Lillard, the ripple effect across the league could be even more dramatic. Without Lillard, Milwaukee is now without their second star. And that raises a very uncomfortable, very real question for the Bucks. What happens to Giannis? Milwaukee entered this year's playoffs as the fifth seed in the East. Not bad, but not exactly dominant either. And now they've fallen into a 3-1 hole against the Indiana Pacers in the first round. A team that was supposed to be a title contender suddenly looks like it's on life support. Giannis has done everything in his power to keep the dream alive, putting up MVP-level numbers, averaging over 30 points, nearly 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists per game, and hitting over 60% from the field. Those are absurd numbers. Historically dominant. But despite all that, the team just hasn't been able to rise to the occasion. And now, with Lillard gone and elimination staring them in the face, people are starting to ask, is this it? Is this the moment Milwaukee finally breaks? Because here's the thing. When a team like this falters, when a star player like Giannis sees his prime years being wasted, the trade whispers don't just get louder, they turn into roars. And right now, no team's fan base is shouting louder than the Lakers. It started small, just a few posts on social media. Tweet here. A comment there. Send Giannis to the Lakers, one fan wrote. The villain arc of Giannis in a Laker uniform next to 77 Luka is going to be so fun, another posted. Then came a wave. Fans imagining a big three of LeBron, Luka, and Giannis. Photoshop edits. Trade proposals. Some saying, I'd give up everything to bring Giannis to. It's become more than a fantasy. It's a movement. And here's the wild part. It might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. We're not talking about rumors pulled from thin air. We're talking about a real situation where Milwaukee could be forced to make a franchise-defining decision. If Lillard is out for a full season, if the Bucks flame out of the playoffs, and if the front office looks around and realizes they can't reload fast enough to keep Giannis happy, what other choice do they have? This wouldn't be a situation where Giannis demands a trade tomorrow morning. But it could easily become a slow mounting pressure. A summer of reflection. Conversations behind closed doors. Discussions about legacy opportunity and whether Giannis wants to spend the next few years hoping for help that might never come. Now imagine this from the Lakers' perspective. They've got LeBron, who's still playing at an elite level, but clearly nearing the end. They've got Luka, who's entering his prime and ready to lead a franchise into the next decade. And they've got a front office that's shown time and time again that when a superstar becomes available, they go for it. This is the team that brought Shaq to LA, traded for Kobe's co-stars, got Pau Gasol, got LeBron, then got Anthony Davis, and now Luka. They don't wait around. They act. The Lakers also have assets. Draft picks. Young players like Austin Reeves. Veterans with tradable contracts. And perhaps most importantly, they have a pitch no other team can match. Championship culture, media spotlight, global brand power, and a roster that would instantly become the most feared trio in the league if Giannis were added to it. Of course, this all hinges on what happens in the next few weeks. The Bucks still have games left. The Lakers do too. Ironically, both teams are in a similar situation, down 3-1 in their respective first-round matchups. The Lakers are on the ropes against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have looked sharp, physical, and fearless. Anthony Edwards is playing like a future MVP, and the Lakers' offense has sputtered at key moments. For all the talent on the roster, they're dangerously close to another early exit. So now picture this, two legendary franchises, both wounded, both staring at off-season uncertainty, and both with pieces that could shift the NBA's power structure overnight. If the Bucks decide to rebuild, and if the Lakers decide to double down and make one more giant swing while LeBron is still around, the idea of Giannis in purple and gold starts to look less like a fantasy and more like a calculated move. Think about how this would reshape the West. Luka, LeBron, and Giannis? 3 of the top 5 players on the planet. No team would match that firepower. Not the Celtics. Not the Nuggets. Not even a healthy Suns or Warriors team. The Lakers would be championship favorites before a single game tipped off. And you know what else? It would sell. Tickets, jerseys, international viewership. The NBA would explode. But for every Laker fan dreaming of that scenario, there's a Bucks fan heartbroken by the thought. Giannis is more than a star in Milwaukee. He's a symbol of loyalty, of humility, of building something from the ground up. He delivered them their first title in decades. He stayed when others would have left. And now, just a few years later, the idea of trading him feels like tearing down a monument. That emotional weight is part of what makes this story so gripping. Because it's not just about basketball. It's about legacy, loyalty, ambition, and the painful truth that sometimes in this league, love isn't always enough. Sometimes the business side wins. And sometimes a move that breaks hearts in one city can ignite dreams in another. So what happens next? Will Giannis stay loyal to Milwaukee, fight through another uncertain year without Lillard, and hope the front office can rebuild quickly? Or will he look west, see LeBron and Luka waiting, and realize that his best shot at another title might not be in Wisconsin, but under the bright lights of Los Angeles? But what do you think about all of this? Should the Bucks consider trading Giannis if the rebuild gets too steep? Do the Lakers have enough to pull off? Or is all of this just wild speculation with no chance of becoming reality? We've seen this story before. Stars like Kevin Garnett in Minnesota, Anthony Davis in New Orleans, and even LeBron back in his first Cleveland stint, all reached a point where staying loyal began to feel like wasting time. Eventually, the desire to win overtook the comfort of staying. Giannis might not be there yet, but the writing on the wall is getting harder to ignore. And if the Lakers do pull this off, it won't just be about stacking talent. It would be about building a dynasty. Imagine what kind of basketball we'd see with Giannis cutting through the paint, Luka orchestrating the offense, and LeBron still able to dominate stretches when it matters most. The synergy, the leadership, the IQ. It's a basketball purist's dream. This move would also change how we think about super teams. This wouldn't be a team thrown together for highlights. This would be 3 players with completely different styles, backgrounds, and motivations coming together with one shared goal to win. Giannis's inside dominance. Luka's perimeter genius. LeBron's all-around brilliance. It's not just flashy. It's terrifyingly efficient. Of course, a trade of this magnitude wouldn't come cheap. The Lakers would have to be ready to part ways with several key pieces. Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, multiple first-round picks, maybe even more. But when you have the chance to acquire a generational talent like Giannis, you don't hesitate. You push your chips to the center of the table and let the league react. And speaking of reactions, the NBA community would erupt. Every sports show, every podcast, every social feed, all eyes would be on LA. The league thrives on moments like this. Drama, power shifts, superstars aligning. And the Lakers, as always, would be at the center of it. Just like they were with Shaq. Just like they were with LeBron. This is what the Lakers do. Milwaukee, meanwhile, will be forced into a different phase, a rebuild. Painful, yes, but sometimes necessary. They get assets, picks, young players, a chance to retool and build for the future. And with the right vision, maybe it doesn't take as long as people think. After all, the NBA changes fast. One great draft, one smart trade, one breakout season, and you're back in it. But that still leaves the emotional gut punch. Losing Giannis will be more than just losing a superstar. It would feel like the end of an era. The man who brought hope back to the city, who stayed when he didn't have to, who embraced Milwaukee like it was his home from the start. Watching him leave would be like watching a hometown hero ride off into the sunset. Still, time doesn't wait for nostalgia. The league moves on. And if Giannis does make that move, the ripple effects could be enormous. Free agents will want in. Veterans looking for rings will call their agents. The Lakers would instantly become the destination once again. Not just for stars, but for the kind of role players who know how to win. And you can bet the league's top contenders will be paying close attention. Teams like the Celtics, the Nuggets, the Mavericks, they'd have to rethink their rosters overnight. How do you match up with a front court of Giannis and LeBron? How do you stop Luka when the floor is spaced with two MVPs beside him? It changes everything. Even the NBA schedule would shift. More national TV games. Higher stakes in every matchup. Christmas Day showdowns. Playoff rematches with deep storylines. The Lakers would once again be the heartbeat of the league. And Giannis, who's always been respected but maybe not fully embraced as a global icon, would enter a whole new level of stardom. And let's talk about legacy for a moment. If Giannis goes to LA and wins even one more championship, it could elevate him into a whole new tier historically. Multiple MVPs, multiple titles, success in two different eras with two different franchises. That's the stuff legends are made of. That's when you stop being compared to your peers and start being compared to the all-time greats. The pressure would be immense, no doubt. But if anyone can handle that spotlight, it's Giannis. He's shown time and time again that he thrives in adversity, that he embraces the grind, that he never takes shortcuts. And with the right team around him, a team like the Lakers, he wouldn't have to carry the load alone. In many ways, this could be the best of both worlds. Giannis gets a new chapter. The Bucks get a respectful restart. The Lakers get another chance at glory. And the fans? They get to witness something historic. Because love him or hate him, Giannis joining the Lakers will be one of the biggest moments in modern NBA history. LeBron has always been about legacy. And aligning himself with two players of that caliber in his final years would not only increase his chances at one last title, it would shape the future of the NBA. He'd be remembered not just for what he did on the court, but for how he helped orchestrate a super team that dominated long after he left. And think about the marketing potential. Nike, Adidas, Jordan Brand. Global sponsors would have a field day. Giannis in LA would open doors internationally like never before. Europe, Africa, Asia. The viewership numbers would be historic. This wouldn't just be about basketball, it would be a global cultural shift. Now let's flip the script for a second. Let's say the Bucks somehow pull off a miracle. They rally back, beat Indiana, go on a run, and Giannis reminds everyone why he's one of the most dominant players in the game. That changes everything. Winning cures all. And in that case, maybe the trade rumors fade. Maybe he stays. Maybe Milwaukee buys time to retool. But as of right now, that's not what's happening. The Bucks look gassed. The offense is inconsistent. The locker room feels fragile. And without Lillard, the margin for error is gone. Even if they manage to survive this series, the deeper they go, the more obvious the cracks become. And you can be sure Giannis is noticing. What makes this entire situation so intense is the timing. We're not 5 years away from a decision. We're not talking about some down-the-road scenario. This could happen this summer. Depending on how the playoffs end, trade talks could begin within weeks. And once those conversations start, they're hard to stop. If you're Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office, you have to be preparing for that possibility right now. Making calls, checking in, lining up assets. This kind of opportunity doesn't come around often. You don't just wait for the off-season to react. You plan now, quietly, carefully, but aggressively. Let's also not forget about Luka in all this. He's the wild card. Already playing like an MVP, he's made it clear that he wants to win now. And if the Lakers can show him that they're building something bigger, something historic, you better believe he'll buy in. Giannis and Luka together wouldn't just be teammates. They'd be a nightmare for every defense in the league. And then there's Darvingham. Imagine coaching a roster with 3 superstars. It wouldn't be easy. Managing minutes, managing egos, managing expectations. But it also wouldn't be impossible. Ham has earned the respect of veterans and young guys alike. And in a locker room filled with high IQ players like LeBron, Luka, and Giannis, the basketball would speak for itself. From a stylistic standpoint, it works too. Giannis brings the rim pressure. Luka controls the tempo. LeBron facilitates, scores, defends, leads. Add a few shooters around them and a solid defensive center, and you've got one of the most balanced teams the league has ever seen. It's not just theoretical, it's practical. Of course, not everyone would be thrilled. Other GMs would panic. Fans from smaller markets would cry foul. The super team debate would rage all over again. But that's part of the fun, right? The NBA has always thrived on drama, on movement, on stars shifting the landscape. And love it or hate it, this would be one of the biggest shifts ever. There's also the question of long-term sustainability. If Giannis comes to LA, do the Lakers become the next great dynasty? Do they win 2, 3, maybe even 4 championships together? It's not out of the question. With the right pieces and good health, this core could dominate for years. That's the ceiling we're talking about. But none of it happens without a little risk. The Lakers will be gambling their future. The Bucks will be letting go of a generational talent. And Giannis will be taking a massive leap, leaving the only NBA home he's ever known to chase something bigger. It's risky, but greatness always comes with risk. Personally, the idea of Giannis in LA gives me chills. That trio would be unstoppable. I mean, how do you even defend that? I can't lie, I'd trade almost anything to make that happen. And if there's even a sliver of a chance, I think the Lakers should go all in. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Big moves could be on the horizon, and we'll be right here bringing you every twist, every rumor, and every breaking headline as it happens. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Lakers!